to Ammo, and on today's episode of Free-to-Play Fun, we are taking a look at Firefall. It is a free-to-play sci-fi MMORPG shooter from Red 5 Studios. It's the first game by Red 5 Studios. The game has been in beta since 2011. Let's just jump right in and take a look at it. The game has a alright background story, very science fiction-y, it's kind of cool idea. You learn all about that in the Force tutorial, which can be takes a little bit longer than I would expect, but it's not worse. And you get in the actual game, and you pick a class. You have four. Let's go down to the garage, take a look at what your choices are. Game, you're a little limited in customization. We'll take more look at that in a second. So you have a dreadnought, assault, biotech, engineer, and recon. These are the classes effectively. They're different battle frames. You can switch out at any time, which is pretty cool. So right now I'm an assault, but if I want to go to a medic, you can just do that, no problem. Although each battle frame, each class levels up individually. So if you want to be able to switch around, you need to level them both up. Otherwise, you're going to be in high level area with one class, and the other class is not going to be able to keep up. And each class has a unique weapon. So here's the assault. We have a plasma gun. Each weapon also has two different fire modes. So here the plasma gun shoots plasma blast, explodes, does area effect damage, but has a little shotgun spray. And that's how every class has one weapon, one primary weapon, which is always the same. So the dreadnought has a minigun, like a Vulcan gun. The medic has a needle gun. Sniper has an assault rifle. The recon class has a assault rifle because it's not fair to call it a sniper. And the engineer has a Tesla gun, which is actually kind of cool weapon, lightning weapon. But these weapons never change. You can find loot. It's an MMORPG, so I can kill these guys. See if we get any item drops. I don't get any item drops. But if we did get item drops, pop open our inventory, and you can't even change weapons in the field. You have to go. You can't just change out your equipment. You have to go to a battle station garage, which can be kind of annoying if you're in the field and you find something really cool you want to put on. You have to go back to a town to throw it on. But here we have a plasma cannon. So primary weapon is always plasma cannon. If we find a new plasma cannon, it'll have different stats. Maybe we can get one with better splash damage, maybe just more damage, more DPS, better ammo capacity, but it's always going to behave the same. It always has the left click, shoot that, right click does that. Always. It's always that same thing. In every class, their weapons behave the same no matter what you get. You just change the stats on that weapon, which is it kind of limits your customization. Same with the abilities. We have three abilities. We have a little speed boost here. We have a strike from the sky, crater ability, which is fun to use. And then overcharge, which gets us unlimited ammo for a period of time, and high rate of fire. And every class has these three abilities, but they're always the same. They're always the same abilities. You can unlock, you can advance these abilities, get higher level versions of these abilities, do more damage, better cooldown, that kind of thing. But they're always the same abilities. And you also have a fourth ability. It's kind of an ultimate ability. You get level, I think it's 8. Say that fourth one, it's a little bar around it's charging up, so I'm fighting this Nautilus. And that ability, this especially powerful ability, but it can only charges up while you're in combat. So you're only going to use it if you're in an extended combat situation, which is kind of a cool idea. You have a different cooldown for an ability. You also have a secondary weapon. You have a lot more freedom in the secondary weapon you take, because you can freely switch that out with whatever secondary weapon. There's a lot of different secondary weapons. We have like a battle rifle here, shoot some bursts. You can get SMGs, assault rifles, grenade launchers. But the problem with these is that, hey, we found a treasure chest in the ground. The problem with these are that they have unlimited ammo. You don't have limited ammo for your primary weapon. But that's not really a big deal, because you can make ammo crates, ammo resupplies very easily. So I've never had an issue with ammo, because it's just so easy to get more ammo. Your secondary weapon has unlimited ammo if you do have problems, and you have a little more customization to what secondary weapon you take, but they don't seem, they're weaker than your primary weapon. All the ones I've seen so far, maybe really high level, you can get an awesome secondary weapon that you just use instead, but they're weaker, and they don't have cool effects. It's just a battle rifle. I use it for long range. If I need to engage something far away, that not gonna be able to hit my plasma rifle. But 99% of the time, I use the primary weapon. So this is a little bit of limited customization compared to a lot of MMOs. character has limited equipment slots that have limited choices that don't affect your gameplay that much. Same with the abilities, limited choices. So if you're really into RPG, customizing your character and your appearance and your stats, this isn't really. If you're really into min-maxing, this isn't for you. Which I'm not particularly worried about because I'm not huge into min-maxing. But if you are, this is it's a little bit limited on your choices here. Outside of that, you can. Right now I'm just running around shooting things, but we go back to our station. There's towns like Copacabana. That's where you start. It's a little start town, and then once you branch out from that, there is little outposts that provide mostly the same things as what the town does, but you don't. It's not the town. It's just everything's focused in the outpost. We're gonna go back there. We're gonna look at the job board, and that's where you get your quests. You don't have to go around talking to different people and trying to figure out what next quest to do. It's all focused on the job board. Fortunately, we got ourselves a little bit away from the outpost, but we do have our relay assault. We have our little speed boost, so we'll be fine. The shooting is fun. I mean, you see me doing it, I've been kind of brushing over it. It works well. You have a bullet travel times, bullet drop for most of the weapons, ranges.
Cover me, I'm reloading.
Enemies are fun to shoot. Even though you have a melee attack if you need to use it. It's fun. It's fun to kill things. It does do a good job. And yeah, melee attack's pretty effective. You can see enemies spawn pretty regularly, and it's not very crowded, which is intentional. So the way this game actually handles servers is that there are different shards. So if you it splits players off into different server shards. So it prevents any server from becoming too crowded, keeps a nice number of players around. And if you're in a clan, there's of course clans and guilds and squads and all that, you can group up. And if you have friends lists, if you're in a guild, it'll always put you on the same shard as those people, kind of foster, a sense of community and social aspect. If you're not in one, if you're playing solo, it'll try to put you on the server with the same players consistently to encourage you to build a relationship with these people and build a sense of community, which I think is a pretty cool idea. It keeps you're just not saturated with players, but it's also not scarce. There's always seems to be a few people running around doing similar things in a similar area, which is really nice for an MMO. Because the best, because we go to the job board, solo play. So you have these missions for solo play, and they're not very interesting. Like Sergeant Lewis is a lean, mean, giant mosquito-killing machine. This last one didn't pan out. Shouldn't be any complications, right? We're going to take this mission. It's going to say, go here, talk to this dude, kill these things, your mission accomplished, good job. Which isn't very exciting. Solo play is kind of lacking, because you just go somewhere, you shoot enemies, there's not awesome loot to get, you just get maybe slightly better abilities or a slightly better gun. So there's also power-ups, damage up here. Temporary power up. You also get ammo and health lying around. But the solo missions aren't very interesting. What is way better is the dynamic missions, the missions that appear on the map that you can just go to and participate in, and also the group events, because group play way better than solo play. If you're solo and you're running around shooting things, I mean that's cool, that's fun, but when you get in a huge group, there's like a large group of enemies and you have a large group of players, that's when you have a lot of fun with this game. And it can just happen wherever. You can be walking around, you can find some dude doing a quest and he's fighting a lot of enemies, and you join in, so you're there now, so the game spawns more enemies and that draws more players, and all of a sudden this dude doing this one quest turns into a giant battle. Or you're just running around and you just run into a dropship that has a lot of enemies in it, and you start shooting enemies, so the game spawns more enemies. You get the idea. Oh, hello. Guys spawning inside me. Big group events happen very organically, and they just appear, and they're really fun. The group play in this game is really good. You have explosions flying around. You really feel like it's a huge battle if you have multiple players engaging the same enemies. And you can kind of force that to happen because the game's crafting system is really neat too. You see over here, we have this goofy pylon looking thing. Well, that's a thumper. So what you do, you can hit the ground with your giant hammer. Gives you a scan of what's in the ground. They've got some tungsten, a little bit of iron. So if I drop one of those miners here and let it finish mining, then I will get a portion. I will get some tungsten and iron, whatever the scanner said. but while it's mining, it attracts enemies, so you have to protect it. So that's a really interesting way. It's a really fun way to do crafting. It's not you run up to a plant spawn and oh hey, you gather these plants and you sit there and gather plants, and then you go make things out of plants, and it's just a time sink. In this one you actually have to participate and shoot things and do fun video game things and participate in combat. And you can help other players with their thumpers. So I'm helping this guy with his thumper. I'm going to get a portion of the rewards and experience for killing the things. It's a nice way to make things happen in this game. I've very rarely been at a loss for something to do, because you either have the quests, which are kind of lackluster, or you can go do thumpers, do crafting, or you can even just or you can even just go around and explore. Because we open up. I'll just get away from this guy so we don't, because we're not going to be helping him anymore. You open up your map, you can find here Ares mission. Recommended level 7, group not required, and I can go there as a mission that spawns, and anyone can go there and help complete the mission. You go there, you get a portion of the rewards. It's really, it was gonna be pretty fun too. And I also have instance missions. So if you go to the town, there's a dropship. You can jump in the dropship, go to an instance, like basically a dungeon. It's a mission. The one I did is the first one. You have to help a guy repair his ship so he can get out of there, and it's a huge battle. You get thrown in with a group of like 3 other players that are doing it, and you'll get to fight this huge battle and help complete the mission. It's actually pretty fun. That is the only time I've died in this game, though. I will say that I have not felt threatened. Very rarely felt threatened. You have health packs, you have ways to escape, and even when I did die, I didn't notice any penalty for dying. So the game might be lacking a little bit of challenge, because it's traditional MMO where you just go stand in front of thing, hit some macro keys and try to kill it, and if you don't have if you're not high enough level, you just die. This one you dance around, take cover, you shoot. So there's a lot more player skill involved on if you're going to survive a fight or not, which I think is mostly a good thing. Although it can end up in a lack of challenge for players that aren't terrible and that have an idea of how to stay alive. I'm not saying I'm super good or anything, but if I can do it, then I'm sure plenty of other people are having no problem in this game. Back to the crafting. The other reason I like this crafting system is I craft using these molecular printers, and all you do, you just hit it. You have a couple of workbenches, hit a new job, and then refine. Say I have iron ore. We're going to refine our iron ore. Start doing it, and then the game just does it automatically. You can start a job if you have the resources, start doing it automatically. You can just walk away, you can do whatever, and it will automatically craft for you. You don't have to sit there. You're not forced to sit there and wait for the job to complete, which I think is a really good way to do crafting. You don't have to. It doesn't waste your time. You can keep doing other things, having fun, while your crafting is being done automatically. And that's what there is for the game, for low levels at least, because at high levels, a lot of this game has some gated content for levels. When you max level a battle frame, you get access. You should have seen it in the garage. You get access to an advanced battle frame, which then has different abilities. So we go to our station here. So we're in assault. Assault has 2 subclasses here: Fire Cat and Tiger Claw. But I can't access those until I fully level out the assault, or if I pay for it. Of course, it's a free-to-play game. The business model seems pretty solid, though. It's more of a pay-to-skip. So if you really want to play Fire Cat, I can just buy it instead of leveling up all the way for it. And it's a lot of this. So my job here, I can pay to skip. If I have a long crafting job that I don't want to deal with, I can pay to skip that. If I want to buy something like a vehicle or I can pay for that, and also you get cosmetic upgrades. I can't think of the word cosmetic. You get cosmetic upgrades. Like I found a parrot. Here's my parrot. I found a pet. He's a parrot. I found this. This is just loot I found, and I have a cool parrot, which I think's really nice. Of course, you can buy cosmetic items. You can buy hats. You can buy. This guy has a little American flag breastplate. Pretty cool. So you can buy all that stuff. Also, it seems like you can find most of the things. I found vehicles that were limited, one-use limited, but I still found vehicles I can use. Found portable jump pads, which is pretty. I think that's a pretty nice business model. Just pay to skip if you really want to have your pet. If you really want to look insane, if you want to have a vehicle at all times, you can pay for it. You can pay to skip, so if you don't get max level before you unlock a better battle frame, you can pay to skip that. So that's pretty nice. Otherwise, you have to wait until you're level up. Also have these gliders to get around, which I mean they're pretty fun. The other thing, there's PvP and raids, but those are gated in the game until you reach max level. So you can't participate in PvP or some of the where the storyline really takes off. Storyline's really supposed to occur in the later levels of the game, in these kind of raid scenarios that didn't affect who controls what area. So you see, if you go to the map, there's a lot of different areas, and sovereignty. To go sovereignty contested. This is sovereignty. Shouldn't me get out of here. Maybe I shouldn't be in a dangerous area while I'm doing this. We go to our map. I should be far enough away. Go to our map. It says Broken Peninsula. It's contested. That means it's not under the Accord. So if we go to where we are now, Coral Forest Accord. So we get bonuses for owning this region. It should tell us somewhere. It doesn't tell us. We do get bonuses for owning the region. I don't remember where it tells you that though. Versus the contested regions, that's where you have to go on special missions to try to take that region over for the Accord, for the player faction versus the NPC faction. And if you fail to, if those missions are failed, then it's a contested region. You don't get the bonuses for owning it. I think that's really cool. It's kind of a dynamic, evolving landscape based on high level raids. Makes those missions really mean something. So it's not just about grinding and leveling up and trying to get new loot. You actually have an objective. I think it's pretty cool. And this guy's Thumper is drawing just crazy amounts of attention over here. You do have some PvP. I mean, if you want to participate in duels, that's an option. We don't get anything for it. There's also a reputation system for high level characters. You get titles. You know, that kind of typical thing you expect from MMOs nowadays. But that is it. Yeah, it's a solid sci-fi shooter with creative crafting. Oh, found an item that this guy is just sitting on. Get off my item. Or you're just okay. You just bugged. Yep. Okay. That is interesting. I haven't seen that before. But it's a solid sci-fi shooter. I haven't actually seen many errors like that. It seems technically pretty solid. I've had very few issues with lag or bugs or anything. A solid sci-fi MMO shooter, good crafting system, the abilities being loot, and with a limited number of weapons, and very limited weapon styles and weapon options, I feel is a weakness. So you don't even level up an ability, you just find the ability modules as loot. So I feel like it does weaken what you can do with your character and your control over your character's development. Just kind of disappointment. It'd be nice to have a little bit more options of what I'm doing with my character and how he's developing. But you can find modules, you can find different modules to maybe make your gun shoot a little faster. So they have some customization, but it's still kind of lacking from what I would hope from an MMORPG. Shooting's fun. The group play is where I think this game really shines. So if you have a group of friends, they can get together and play this game. That's when I think it does best, because the solo play is it's easy. There's not much going on because you have limited options to what you're doing. But if you have a group together and you get in a huge battle with especially humanoid opponents that also have weapons, then it can be a real blast because there's explosions going off, you're using abilities, you're actually using synergy between the different classes. Really entertaining, which can happen if you're doing solo play. You can, like I said, you can just run across like a group using a thumper and help them fight off waves of enemies, which can be pretty fun. But other than that, solo play is kind of weak because you're running around and occasionally you find a cool mission to do, but for the most part it's kind of meh on what you're doing alone. But it is free. There's a pay to skip model. It's not pay to win, which is very nice. So I'd really recommend this for being free to play. I'd recommend it. Whoa, what do we have here? A little bit of iron. Okay. I'd recommend this if you have a group to play with. I would highly recommend it. If you just want to play alone, I would only recommend it if you're really into MMOs or sci-fi or shooters and you want to try out a new shooter, because the abilities and the customization is kind of lacking, and a lot of the content is level gated. But other than that, it's just a decently fun game, especially if you have a group. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode of Free to Play Fun. Subscribe for more, follow me on Twitter, you know, whole YouTube deal. I'll see you next time.